With the NHL season fast approaching, this off-season hasn't brought the turbulent change many fans had anticipated for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Once again, the Leafs are running it back with the same core group that has been present for all their recent failures. But is the so-called core four of the Leafs truly the problem? Will sticking with it for another season have a different outcome? And what does the future of the core group look like in Toronto? Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Victoria and I talk everything Toronto sports from Scotland normally, but I am in Canada for the month of September. I'm currently in London, Ontario, and I was in Toronto last week, so there will be vlogs coming, of course, but for today we're talking about the core group because the season is starting very soon. I'm so excited that I'm going to some pre-season games later in the month and I can't wait for the season to get started, but already I'm thinking about, will there be any different outcomes this year, or are we just going to see the same as what we've seen every other season? And so today we're talking about the core four, the future of the group, and will this year be any different? As always, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to my channel and also like this video for more content like this. I really appreciate it, and let's dive into the video. So the core four group in Toronto are generally considered to consist of Austin Matthews, William Nylander, Mitch Marner and John Tavares, alongside Morgan Rielly. This group was created under the so-called Shanaplan, a nickname given by Leafs fans to describe the methods Brendan Shanahan used to rebuild the team. Rather than signing older players to try and get a quick fix and try and find success, instead Shanahan opted to draft and develop a young team with more of a long-term plan in mind. Therefore, the entire fundamentals of the so-called Shanaplan, they rest on the core group that he created. They fundamentally make up the kind of rebuild that he opted for the team, and really the entire plan rests on the success of them. But as the years have passed, as that core group has got older, the Leafs have continued to not find very much success in the postseason. So does this mean that both the core four and the entire Shanaplan have failed? Yes and no. Aside from in 2013, the Leafs missed making playoffs every single year from 2006 to 2016. In post-2016, they have made the playoffs every single season, and it can't be a coincidence that this times perfectly with when the Leafs were drafting the majority of this core group. Nylander was drafted in 2014, Marner in 2015, and of course Austin Matthews in 2016. Morgan Rielly was already on the team, having made his NHL debut in October 2013, and then finally in 2018 John Tavares also joined the Leafs, completing the core group that we are so familiar with today. And so even though they haven't been able to go on any sort of cup run, they have consistently made the playoffs every year. And so although I know this is not good enough and it's not an excuse, it is an accomplishment that previous Leafs rosters were unable to achieve. In a way, it could be worse. They could not be making the playoffs and then they wouldn't even have a chance every single year. And so changing the group too much could mean that they don't make playoffs at all. So in a way, it's sort of a failure, but in another way, it's not really. And that takes us on to the ups and the downs of this core group. As I mentioned, despite this young core enabling the team to make the postseason, finding success beyond this point has been now impossible for them to come by. This isn't to say though that there haven't been amazing moments sort of wrapped within that. It's really easy to overlook all the good when you're just looking at playoff failures, and I get it. I mean, every, like April, May time, we all end up in this slump of just this team sucks and there's nothing good about them, but that's not strictly true. And looking more up close, I guess, at the individual seasons, you can see the development and the success which has come with this young core. There have been many amazing moments with this group, including, of course, Matthews becoming the first player in modern NHL history to score 4 goals in his NHL debut, and then later on he became the first player in Toronto history to score at least 40 goals in 4 consecutive seasons. Austin Matthews is a Rocket Richard winner. He is an incredible asset to this team, and I mean, I'm biased. I'm very biased, I know, but He is one of the best and most exciting players of this entire generation, and decades from now there is going to be so much nostalgia about the Austin Matthews and Connor McDavid era and all the greatness that came from that. And so even though the Leafs haven't been winning any cups or even getting close to a cup, Austin Matthews has left a legacy in Toronto history that is never going to be erased, even if they don't win a cup. Another amazing moment, of course, was John Tavares scoring that overtime goal to take the Leafs to the second round in the 2023 postseason. Watching this group is entertaining and they produce really great hockey. They've created a fun era of Leafs hockey for fans, and it's important not to overlook that fact. And I know it's difficult because when there's just no cup success, it's hard to appreciate what you have, but sometimes you can find fun and success in smaller achievements, and I definitely think that there is a whole abundance of those within this core group. However, despite these sort of fun and entertaining things about this group, it's hard to overlook the elephant in the room, which is the money and business side of it all. The combined salaries for the 24-25 season for Matthews, Marner, Nylander and Tavares equate to a whopping $46.65 million. That's 53.2% of the Leafs' $87.7 million cap hit. 4 players taking up over half of your cap hit leaves very little to spend on depth, goaltending and other areas which may need attention, something that the Leafs have definitely struggled with in recent seasons. It's really hard to defend this much money being wrapped up in such a small group of players, especially when you consider that their post-season performances are often lackluster and sometimes they're mediocre at best. It's all fine and well having high performers in the regular season, it's great making playoffs, but without the ability to go that final mile, sometimes it just doesn't seem worthwhile. Fans dedicate so much time, loyalty and money into this team, and so we deserve to watch good hockey and successful hockey, especially when there's so much money wrapped up in these players. Those playoff games where people spend thousands of dollars to go to only to watch the most soulless hockey be played and there be crushing defeats, it's not good enough, you know? And no matter how much I love the Leafs, it's hard to dispute that fact. With both Matthews and Nylander staying in Toronto for the time being, having both agreed to deals which keep them on the Leafs, the only changes that are really up for debate at the moment are regarding Marner and Tavares, and both of those contracts are a bit of a dilemma for the Leafs. Without sounding dramatic, a huge factor in the entire future of the Leafs really rests on Mitch Marner and John Tavares and their contracts in this upcoming season. Should they stay or should they go? Tavares' massive contract is now entering its final year, and with his age and decreasing productivity, it's inevitable that a decision has to be made. My personal hope is that Tavares stays in Toronto on a massive discount, on a drastically reduced deal. A new role for him on the team, he's no longer the captain, he's no longer one of the ridiculously high paid players on the team who consequently is expected to put up really good points. His experience and veteran-like role really has its own value within the team, and I would love to see him staying in Toronto. He's great at winning face-offs, and I definitely think that there's still a place for him on the Leafs, just on a lot less money than he's on right now. The Marner issue is a whole other thing. With Marner's agent being the negotiator that he is, it's unlikely, it's not happening at all, that Marner would be likely to take any form of pay cut. He's also entering the final year of his contract, which is currently a 6-year $65.4 million deal, and he became eligible to sign an extension on July 1st, but as of filming this right now in September, there is no change. Marner is a valuable player, don't get me wrong, but there's something about his entire role that has just been off to me recently. He was poor in the postseason, he seems to be getting really fed up of the Toronto media, and with the recent Draisaitl signing of $40 million AAV, it is concerning that Marner's camp may be hoping for a similar deal. This is a lot of money for the Leafs to wrap up in him, especially given that his postseason performances, in my opinion, do not meet the standard. If Marner could stay on the Leafs on a sort of similar salary as to what he's on right now, then it could definitely work for the Leafs in the future, but as I said, that is incredibly unlikely. I think he's going to want a pay rise of some kind, but the Leafs, they maybe need to stop wrapping up so much money in this core group. It hasn't got them on a cup run yet, and so it's unlikely that that will change, as much as I really hope that it will. However, trading Marner also comes with its own issues. It should only happen if there's going to be a great return for the Leafs. Marner is a valuable player, he does put up really good points and numbers, and you can't be giving him away for nothing. It needs to be that you get something really good in return. I don't think there's any like for like trade where it would just be one player in return for Marner. I think it would need to be a number of pieces which add up to the same value as him. But this is tricky, and Marner going could leave a gap in the team that they might find it hard to fill. Then again, letting Marner walk to free agency doesn't give the Leafs any benefits at all, apart from of course freeing up that cap space. But then again, you need to find someone to fill that gap. Is there anyone who's going to fill the role that Marner has on the team? I don't know. Overall, the Marner and Tavares contract issues are of massive concern. You don't want to overpay anyone, and wrapping up so much money in such few players has not worked for the Leafs so far, and the Leafs really will need more cap space in the upcoming years to improve their depth. But then again, the salary cap is going up, it's going upwards, and you don't want to lose high quality players who can take you to cup success either. And you also don't want to tear apart the team so much that they end up not making the postseason in the first place. One change which has come in terms of the core group this offseason is the fact that Austin Matthews is now captain of the Leafs. I did a whole video on this, and so I won't talk about it too much, but this change is relatively minor, and typically a captaincy is more about the symbolism, and as long as they are a good leader, a good communicator, and they can sort of lead the team in a way and set a high standard for them, that's really all you need the captain to do. However, it does symbolise a whole new chapter and a new era for the Leafs, and alongside the fact that we have got a new coach in Craig Berube, it is really a new period for the Leafs to enter into, and so maybe these little changes can actually add up over time, and it might take them onto a cup run. I really hope. I'm so excited for the Leaf season, guys, and once again I'm falling into the trap of this is the year, this is our year. So in terms of the future of the core four, it's really dependent on a variety of factors, contract issues, the attitudes of the players, etc. For now, the core will remain intact relatively because, of course, Matthews and Nylander are both here to stay. But for probably the first time since the core group was founded, this upcoming season, with the fact that both Tavares and Marner's contracts are running out, does provide opportunity for a change in this core group that hasn't been available before. So this season is sure to be an exciting one, especially in terms of this core group that we have all come to know and either love or hate depending on which Leafs fan you ask. So there you have it. There are just some of my thoughts on the core group in this upcoming season. I am so excited for the season to start. I cannot wait. I have missed Leafs hockey so much, and so I can't wait. And so I thought I would just share some of my thoughts on the core group because I've been thinking about it a lot lately and thinking about how the future of the Leafs could look very different if both, you know, Tavares and Marner were to leave after this season. So leave me a comment down below. What do you think of the core group? What do you think that the future of the core group should look like? And what impact do you think that this core is going to have on the Leafs' future success? Once again, make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll be back soon with more Toronto sports chats, which are not across the pond currently, but they are from a Scottish girl who's in Canada currently. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.